Today we're working on a bad boy with a 32 horsepower Vanguard on it. The issue we're having with this is when you turn the key to start it, you're just getting a clicking noise. So there's multiple different things that it could be. This one I kind of already got it figured out, but I'm going to go through the steps to what you need to do to get to this point. So with this particular engine, the starter has a starter solenoid built right onto the side of it. So this cable coming in, that's your power that hooks directly to your battery. And then that little wire right there, that's called a remote wire. Now that remote wire, the way that works, every time that gets power, 12 volts, it allows the power to go through to the actual starter motor, which turns the engine over. With this particular one, our noise that we're getting, see, occasionally it'll start, and then sometimes it won't. So this is pretty common on Briggs mostly, but it does happen to a lot of different engines with this style starter. What we're gonna do to verify is just take a wire, and you can connect it to your positive here on the battery and just run it over and touch that pin right there, and it should take off every single time. Be careful not to short it to ground, spark and whatnot, but reason that this happens is your power comes from your key switch, and when any one of these safety switches is not on right, you won't get anything at all when you go to crank it. So we know that our safety switches are working because, it's trying. It's just we got a loss of volts somewhere in one of these switches. And instead of taking time to figure out which switch it is, because they're all working, I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I learned. So here I've got a 5-pin relay. And what I'm going to do is essentially just wire in a solenoid, a relay for the actual starter. So what this is going to do, I'm going to hook a wire straight to the battery. I'm going to ground the relay. One of these wires is going to go to the starter, and one of them is going to connect to the wire that is already on the starter. Because the issue is when it just clicks, that wire, I've already tested it with my voltmeter, it's only getting like 6.5 volts. That solenoid needs more than that to operate. So somewhere in this system, at one of these relays, there's a loss of volts. We're losing some power somewhere. And I could figure out why. I could go through and find the issue here, but it's a lot cheaper to the customer and is a guaranteed fix to do this. We've done this multiple times. So I'll put a diagram on the actual video of how to wire this 5-pin relay up. But I've also got this harness here. You can get these on Amazon, super cheap, and it just makes it look a lot better. Takes a little bit of the work out of it. Also, with this particular one, the wires weren't oriented exactly how I wanted them. And you can, if you stick a pick or something right down there, you can actually pull these pins out and rearrange them however you want. So I got these wired up to where I know exactly where they're going. I got one, my power wire is going to go to the battery. The black wire is going to be grounded, which you can ground it right to the engine block or anywhere. The blue one in the middle is not going to be used. Our white one is going to go to the starter, and then this yellow one, I used the yellow one to connect to the yellow wire that's already there. So everything is, makes sense when you look at the colors. All right, we're back. We got everything wired up. You see my battery positive cables running to the battery. We got our 5-pin right here with everything hooked up. Now check this out. Every single time I hit that key, we're getting the right volts to that starter to make everything operate the way it's supposed to. And some people might not like this fix. It's not factory as to But I mean, this is an older machine. I think this is like a 2008. Guy doesn't want to spend a ton of money, you know, for me to go through and figure out where the issue really is. So there's nothing wrong with this fix. Everything looks fine. Everything's nice and tight. It's not going to cause issues in the future. So essentially all this is think of it like a power bank. This wire here, your red wire, is just supplying this relay with 12 volts constantly, all of the time. Your ground, and then your remote wires hooked up the way they are. So your sensors are still working. If you drop one of these sensors, it's not going to work. So everything still works exactly how it's supposed to. All your arm bars, your seat sensors, everything works the way it's supposed to. But you're just ensuring that there's 12 volt there to be used when you need it all the time. One thing I forgot to mention, you don't need one of those harnesses. That's something that you can get on Amazon super cheap, make it easy. All you really need is one of these 5-pin relays and just the wiring supplies to hook it up like that. So you can hook those wires straight to these pins. If you've got spade connectors, you can connect them to your wires and hook them straight to those pins, and it'll work just fine. Just follow the diagram that I posted on here, and to hook those up to get all your wires hooked up the way they need to be, and it'll work just fine. Just going this route saves a ton of time, you know, and that way all your colors are color coordinated, they all match, and it just looks a lot cleaner.